How you doing? Oh, I got on my beanie cap today. Hi, John. And the reason for that is that I want to do a little stuff with watchmaking. We did some things yesterday afternoon. It didn't work out so well. I had a watch that was 12 seconds off. And by the time I finished demonstrating how to adjust it, it was 45 seconds off. So uh, I had to play around with it some more to get it into pretty good shape. So how's everybody doing this morning? John, it looks like you're the only one talking this morning. So we'll let's see. Okay, well, I'm just going to go and start talking about what we had done the other day. Now, I've got a bunch of books. Hi, Matiha. Did I say that right? I have some books I got to pile up here so I could sort of show you what was going on. The Let me. So this is. I got my camera on a thing. Hi, Chris. And the what I have here is a little thing. I don't know if you can see it or not. Boy, it's almost impossible to see, sort of at an angle. What this is something called an analyzer, and it works something like a time graph. Hi, Jeffrey, and uh, pretty close. Okay, best. All right, my Matiha. Okay. Hey, Rohit. Uh, so anyway, so what I do is that I Abdul. Uh, so what I do is that I put this on the watch. It works like I said, it works like a time grapher, and then I it does an analysis of it, and it comes back with how close or not so close you are, and so I was showing everybody how I was using this thing with my watch. Those are the man. Let's see. This doesn't work at all, does it? Oh well. I'll take my word for it. How's that? And so then what you have here, um, boy, then you choose the watch you're working on. Hi Fahrenheit. Um, and where is it? Raymond Weil. There it is. And so I have my Raymond Weil here. Doggone, I wish you could see this. And I after I started it, it was off by 4 seconds, and then I'm sorry, it was off by 12 seconds. And so I was showing everyone how to fix it. I got it off by 45 seconds, and then I tried it again, and it went to the other end, and it was a disaster. I'll put it that way. Anyway, I had a lot of fun, but nobody else was what was going on. So, um, well, I had more time. I was moving the regulator back and forth, and the way you do it on this particular watch is there's a screw, and I guess it must be funny shaped or something because around it they have a little. That's where your regulator head is, and it either pushes it this way or this way. Now, what happens when you use a regulator? Mark Javier, how you doing, man? When you what happens with a regulator when you use just a regular regulator and nothing none of the balance weights or anything is that it either tightens or loosens the mainspring, or not the mainspring but the hairspring. And when that happens, what it does is that if it makes it shorter, it'll run faster. If it makes a little longer, it runs slower. And so what you do essentially is you're moving a device that will clamp it as being shorter or longer. And so sometimes this is so easy. Now, some things that you need to know are usually this is done automatically. On mine, it automatically figures out the frequency. Most watches that most people have is 4 hertz or 28,800. So that's pretty much what we're dealing with. The there's another value that you need that is, let me see if I got it right here. It's called the lift angle. Okay, and the lift angle is in a percentage. And so you set up the lift angle on some time graphers, it's automatic, so you don't have to worry about it. On mine, you do. Now, the good thing about that is that you have to learn something about lift angles. If you have an ETA, the great thing about ETAs is that if you go to the eta.ch site, you can pick out the movement that you're using, that you're trying to adjust, get the lift angle from them. I mean, they have all this information about it, and then go to town on your watch. This is yet another reason why it's important to have good information about what's in your watch. The watch that I was working on, I'd never done an adjustment on an automatic before, so it was sort of fun. Nor had I used that type of screw adjustment, but it worked out fine. I mean, it's not, if you're going to do this with a watch, do one on one that you can afford to break, because otherwise you might be in trouble. Anyway, Javier and Joas, good morning. So I'm going to go back to this guy that I had. This one is actually adjusted to, I think it's plus 4 seconds. So it'll get 4 seconds a day, which is generally pretty good. And in order to do that, I got to stack up some books so you can see it up here. Now, what this watch is, the watch is a Raymond Weil 3430, which is basically called a Raymond Weil automatic. The movement, I finally found the movement. Boy, the movement was hard to find on this one. It's an ETA 2824-2. Now, when I say it was hard to find, it's written right on the movement itself, underneath the balance wheel, and I think they used about 1 point pica to write it in, so it was hard to find. I found it, and so what I was able to do, I took now that I know it's an ETA 2824, I had the wrong ETA number down earlier, and as a result, I had the wrong lift angle down. So now I had once I got the lift angle and everything squared away, I could set my quote time grapher. It's actually Frederick Constant, what they call analyzer. So anyway, let me sort of try to show you what I did, and hope that things go well or not. Okay, like I said, I have this this particular here's my time grapher. I don't have it plugged in, but okay. All right, so I'm going to take this pile of books, and put them here. Now, probably the last thing you want to do is to have a big anything. I use pretty good sized books, so that I'd have a nice stable platform to work on. And let me see, I probably have to stand up here. Yeah. And here's the watch. Okay. And the tools that I'm using. Now, this is something I would normally wear. You wear them on your offhand. I'm left-handed, and so I'll put it, usually use a minimum of 3. And you just put them on like that so you can work on it without gumming up the works in your watch. It's a good practice. Some people put on more. Some people have gloves, but finger cuts are the main things that most people use. And you use we were taught to put them on our opposite hand. All right. So what I can do with this is that I can hold the watch with this, and then I have some kind of tool that I'm working on here. Oh, whoops. Yeah, this, like I said, a good workbench is an important place to work. Okay, now, what I use to open everything up is what's called a case knife, and you can tell by the looks of these are easy to find, and as you can see, this thing has been well used. I don't like to use case knives if I can help it. But sometimes it's just what you need. So what I would do with this case knife is to open up my watch. I'll take the back off. Now, this particular back is held in there by 4 screws. And I took the screws out and I put them in a covered case. The reason for a covered case are 2 things. One, you don't want to get any dust on them, but that's not going to be that big of a problem. The other reason is so you don't lose them. I once lost one for this, and it was guy nailed me for a replacement. Okay, also one thing is you want to have good lighting, and I have these lights, and they have a magnifier. I have a couple of them, so you can do it from different angles. So essentially, what we're working with here, and I'm gonna have to wind this sucker up. Let's see. Can you see it? Okay, at the bottom there, you can see this. You can see the balance wheel, and then you can see the ruby that is at the top of the balance wheel. And then to the left of the ruby, it may be for the right, depending on your angle, I guess. You'll see this little, it looks like a little loop with a screw in the middle. Now, what that is the adjustment screw. Now, what I usually have and really prefer, it turns out, after playing around with a screw, is that you just have a little stick pointing out like that. Just a little, there'll be a little pointed stick. And what you do is you move to the right for the faster or slower. Get it wound up real quick. I forgot to wind it. I rarely use this watch anymore. I used to use it for doing yard work and stuff like that because it's pretty old. It's about probably 20 something years old. I don't know. I got it new. Okay. Oh man. Oh, there it goes. Okay. One thing about this, you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not. I got it. You will now going back and forth, oscillating, as the correct term would be. And then pop very carefully. With the thing about a case knife is that they come down with sort of a dull side because you don't want to slip something and mess up your watch. Okay, and so then what you do, you can see this in here or not. Let me see where it is. Oops. That's how come I don't. It's demonstrating with a rotor still in place can be tricky. Okay, so what I do then, I go here and I turn it to the left or the right. There's what you'll see on most will have a little plus or minus. Some of them have F and S. If your watch is running too slow, you want to basically shorten the hairspring so it runs a little faster. If it's running too fast, you do the opposite. You slow it down. This one was running too fast, so I had to slow it down. But I slowed it down too much, and then I had to come back again. And it could be depending on the watch and your skills. It can be a while. This one, some people will use a some tweezers like this. I don't. I much prefer if you're going to poke around with it, either use a screwdriver or a pegwood stick. If you don't have a pegwood stick, a good toothpick, a good wooden toothpick works just fine. What you want to do is you want to have something that's anti-magnetic and work with that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you, this is sort of a fun thing in a weird way. I'm going to move this stuff off of here. This is, like I said, this is not a surface that I would normally work on. You want to have it over here. I don't know if you can see it. There's this, get one of those green anti-magnetic pads and stuff. What this is right here, this is another project I'm working on. And I got everything on but the second hand. And this is the little, I don't know what, little vise that you hold it in. And you can either have it with a dial up or dial down. Right, now, when you have it in the dial down position, usually you have the stem and the crown at 9 o'clock, and get it all set up. And when you're working on it, you have to envision it that it's either going where your different parts are on the other side. And so this is my invention, my contribution to horology. This is, you're looking at it backwards. Okay. I just took everything, put it around a circle. It's got the grease and gunk on it from use. And then I put it down here. And so where over here, where it should be, you can see the 3. And so it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like a regular one, 6 and 12, where they don't move at all. But anyway, now this is, for a project, I think it might be, let me put this back. One of the things I think that might be sort of fun to start with, I'm going to take this stuff down now. Whoa. A ton of books here. There we go. Usually too, I'll wear I have 2 of these. This is the easy one. If you wear glasses, you need something to hook them onto your glasses with. This is a cheap one I got on Amazon, and I got another one that's really good, but it's harder to put on, so I'm going to put this away. And I thought, well, what we could do is think of a project that I figured a good place to start. Let me turn this off. A good place to start would be with adjustments and with something that, it's pretty easy to do. Now, let's see. Hi, Beal. I want to welcome people. Hi, Bruce. Okay, and so let's see what we can do for things. I never knew the lift angle is important. I have the DC analyzer, but also a time grapher. Yeah, usually on the time grapher, Abdul, what you can see is you can see it'll automatically come up with a lift angle. See, I went to Ofei and Essinger. Both of them are good ones. Lots of goodies, very tempting. Do you have an additional links? I got one for this place in LA that I was showing everyone yesterday. I got some movements there, but they have weird movements. Ones that I got were for a regulator, and they're pretty small. Let me see if I got it right here. Yeah. This is the one this regulator works beautifully. It comes with 3 hands. It's got a great big knob in the middle that nothing goes on because it's a regulator. So anyway, I'll see if I can find a link to that. That may or may not still be open. They get a lot of stuff from China. And the good thing about it is it's already in the US and so forth. Hi, Lee. Richard, how you doing? Okay, so let's see what else. I recently regulated both my Seiko with the COSC specs. One issue I didn't foresee, I magnetized one of them accidentally using a screwdriver. Good one. Yeah, I magnetize stuff. This is why I prefer like a pegwood stick or something like that. Also, too, tweezers and screwdrivers and everything else, you have to find ones that are unmagnetic. Now, I don't know. After having my FP Journe Chronomet Surveying service for a lot of money, I had it for a few months, and next thing I knew, it was running too slow. And so I talked to the guy at the boutique in New York, and I didn't think I had done anything. My case is away from magnetism. None of my other watches got magnetized. I thought I was doing everything right. But sure enough, it was magnetized. He demagnetized it and it was fine. Thank God. He didn't those things. Anyway, okay, let's see. What's this? Quote of the day: the Western watch manufacturers have gone full degenerate. That's us, full degenerate. They have changed their tool watches into obnoxious bling. If you want a true toxic masculinity watch, go Russia. I don't know. Russians have some good watches, I'll admit that, but I don't think it's going to make you more of a man, Putin. That doesn't work. You need something else. Okay, let's not pick on world leaders anymore. We can cut that out. Are Chinese case holders of enough good quality? That's a good question. Most of mine are Chinese. Let me see. I got this guy. This is the case that I have now. It's pretty big case for one thing, and you can get it with a exhibition window in the back, and it's they're almost horn lugs that on this particular one. You have a lot of different varieties. The German ones that I've seen advertised are look to be very nice, but I haven't tried one. So but they cost a lot more. So do I want to spend $100 on a German case as opposed to, I don't know, what, $5-10 on a Chinese case? I mean, you got stainless steel, and they're all kinds of different ones. I've got a whole drawer full of them here. Like after I break a movement, I go and buy another case in movement. So I don't know. That's a good question, though. Okay, what else is going on? Let's see. Chinese. I'm adjusting my Edox manual wine watch this weekend. Got the info on the movement and a couple of videos on adjusting manual wine watches. That's the best thing to start with. This was actually yesterday when I was trying to show everyone how to adjust my What I do with it? Now, see, I lost it already. There it is. Uh, when I was showing everyone how to adjust this, it was screwing it up something awful. This little guy, this is my Raymond Weil. I've had this for God forever, it seems, and it's sort of taken a, I mean, really taken a beating, but it's still ticking. And now it's at 4 seconds, which is for a an ETA of that age, and with I don't think I've ever had it service. So now, on the other hand, let me say something else. Um, if you have a really good watch, I wouldn't screw with it. I'll just put it that way. I wouldn't try to adjust it. I wouldn't try to do anything to it. I take it to a watchmaker, have them do it. The more expensive the watch, the less you can afford to screw it up. On these, if you get really good at it, because you've broken 15 of these cheap ones. Now this is about, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks for a movement. So it's not, it's not compared to the other watches that we have. It's not free, so to speak. So anyway, okay. So what else is going on? Let's see. Oh, by the way, Abdul, once you get your edox adjusted, let us know how it went. Gilberto, I've been hearing good stuff about Vostok and Coma. Yeah, they're good. They are. They're very. How to put this? They're not. They're very. I don't know. I functionally, minimally functional. I'll put it that way. In other words, you say, okay, listen, we got to do this. We got to have mass production. We got to do this, this, and this, and we got to have them work. And the design characteristics are okay, but again, when I was in Russia a few years ago, I was in this store. I was looking at all these Russian watches, and they got some really nice ones. I mean, they were, but they're okay. Hey, Richard, what's up? Have you seen the Omega Aquaterra Wilsheimer? I think I have. If it's one I think it is, Richard, I really like it. By and large, if I have a choice of stainless steel or gold, and the price is the same, I'll go with a gold. But usually there's a big price difference, and I'm perfectly happy with stainless steel. Some of my best watches are stainless steel. I have a Komandiersky and a Strela, cheap and traditional, not the most precise watches built, but if you like their design, I can recommend them. Okay, that's good to know. I have a Poljot. My little Poljot. It's an alarm, and I can hardly, alarms. If they buzz, I can feel them on my wrist, but I can't hear them. So I mean, it would be sort of a total waste. I have crappy hearing, and so that's the way it goes. Yeah, they get the job done. That's a good question. What is the job of the really expensive watches? I mean, you're right. They get the job done. If time telling, but so does the quartz and a lot of other things. My little $200 perpetual regulator keeps great time. It just fantastic. I wind it up. It's an automatic, but I wind it up and it stays wound for a long time. And so anyway, okay, if you could choose but one Chinese watch, which one would you choose and why? Oh, John, I don't know. Let me see. I don't think I choose a Chinese watch, but I choose Chinese parts. Let me amend that. There are a couple guys who are in the FP Journe and those guys. It's the Independent Watch Group, of which Marco Lang is the current president, and you got all of the top watchmakers are part of it. Philippe Dufour, Kerry Wooten-Lannon, just all of them are part of that. And they've been having, there's a couple Japanese watchmakers whose stuff is just beautiful. One has one called the Tsunami, which is just a beautiful watch. So you have, so I would choose one of those watches. There's this one guy, I swear, he makes a new movement on his lunch break. He's a much older guy, but he's just like, oh, I think I'll do this. Really a very cool watchmaker. Okay, so I'd choose one of those. My pick would be a Seagull FKJB 1963. Yeah, those 1963 ones are sort of cool. And they're very inexpensive too. I believe some of the newer Strela watches use Seagull movements. They may. Seagull movements, this guy has a seagull in it. Now, the important thing about it is that they have a seagull especially made for a regulator. In other words, somebody says, ooh, well, there goes my, I usually have been turning this off. I had to leave it on though for the time grapher. Okay, I would buy a cheap vintage watch instead of a Chinese watch. I did buy a Panerai Homage as it was cheaper than buying the movement dial and hands on their own. Abdul, that's a good idea. Yeah, sometimes if you want a watch to work on, just go find an old one, an old vintage one on eBay or someplace like that, and you can take it apart and put it back together or clean it up, and you can have a lot of fun with those. And then you don't have to go out and buy the case one place and buy the dial somewhere else and buy the hands and going through all of that. So I agree with Abdul. If you want an easy way to get started, find one with a big movement. In fact, even you might even consider a pocket watch. With this is actually a pocket watch movement, the ETA 6497. And they're great fun to make your own watches. They tend to be pretty big though, so that's one thing. So that makes it easy to work on. Some Chinese watch brands are pretty good. Take Beijing brand. Yeah, well, Beijing brand is like really a big one. They got a lot of stuff under that. Yeah, there's a lot of things about the Chinese watchmaking business I don't understand it at all. And the reason I don't understand it is it's so big. Probably more movements in the world. If you take all the watches in the world and you look at all the movements, the majority, or at least the plurality, are going to be Chinese. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, guys, time is up for me. But this is what we have. We're having a contest, okay? And you can win a free watch. Let me tell you what it is. Take a wrist shot. This is called the quarantine wrist shot contest. And just on High Horology Lounge, just take a really good picture, the best one you can, while in quarantine. So it can be, anywhere that you're quarantined up. One guy's, Eddie was saying, well, he uses Driveway. Tigran, oh man, sorry. Yeah, we ran out of time. Anyway, so that's the contest. And Wednesday, a week from yesterday, we'll announce the winner and I'll send you a free watch. Okay. So go to High Horology Lounge, take your picture and go to HHL. Hope to see you tomorrow. I'll be back this afternoon as well. So take care in the meantime. And till then, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side.